Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we are here to bring you guys our 15th consecutive episode of the More Midnight Madness. I almost messed it up.
The madness.
Yeah, man. So, Brian, how's it going with you? What's going on? How are you today?
You know, another hot day here in Central Oregon. They just outlawed fireworks, basically, unless you're a professional putting on a show. So they just had all the tents got cleared to start selling fireworks, and now fireworks are no longer. I mean, I know there's still people are going to do it, but there's like a $750 fine if you get found using them. And so I'm like, we're just not buying fireworks. This place is a tinderbox right now. It's ready to go up. Yeah. I mean, Weed, California, which is just over the border. They got a huge fire that shut down the highway that goes from, one of the highways that goes from California into Oregon, but Central Oregon, it's the only one. So yeah, we're dealing with that. It's fun. We got another day of it, and then it'll start cooling off.
People have to be careful with the grass outside and all that.
Yeah.
You guys have rain in the forecast, I'm assuming?
Nope.
Oh, I thought that's why you said it was going to cool off. All right. That's
no,
cool.
It's just the heat wave that we've got. The over 100 temperatures are not typically normal for up here, just because of elevation. It feels a lot hotter because of your proximity to the sun, but that couple thousand feet from sea level makes a hell of a difference. Between if I go outside and I walk in the sun and walk in the shade, it's a 20-degree difference, regardless of what the temperature is outside. And so, it's just. Fortunately, after tomorrow's the last hot day, and then it's supposed to. I mean, it's still going to be in the 90s, but it's cooling down. And the temperatures at night tonight's supposed to be like 78.
That's good.
No, it's still hot. I mean, for me, I can't sleep like that, so I got to have the AC and everything running. But then it's supposed to go back into like the high 50s or low 60s when the temperature starts dropping after tomorrow. So that would be good. When
you guys go to sleep, you crank up the air conditioners so that way the house is. Temperature is as low as possible. We open the windows normally, but on like tonight where it's going to be 78, that's not going to cool the house off for tomorrow. So we'll be running AC all night long tonight. Okay. All right. Let's get to the show, man. On Twitter today, it's almost like a good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
And let's start. Let's start with the good first. If I can find it. Where did I do with them? Don't tell me I didn't upload them. Oh, here they are. Okay, I was going to say. All right, so let's start with the good. Frank Gore tweets something out today. He says, real excited about this one. This offseason, I partner with Foco Bobbles to create my own bobblehead. Shop now at foco.com. All right. Now, the reason this made our show is because Frank Gore is a 49ers legend, right? Obviously.
Absolutely.
But he also chose to make his bobblehead with the 49ers. There you go. You can see it a little bit better there. I zoomed in on it. People are constantly asking us, should the Niners give him a 1-year deal just to, have him retire as a Niner? It's getting harder and harder for me to keep saying no to this question, Brian. One, are you interested in the bobblehead?
I will not be buying a bobblehead. No.
So you're not a bobblehead collector?
No.
But when you attend the games and they give them to you, what do you do with them?
I've never been given one. I never went on a bobblehead day.
Oh, okay. All right.
But if they did, I'd just give it to my kid or give it to somebody else's kid, another fan.
Really? Interesting. I mean, it's a good way to get them. When I've gone to a couple of games, I saw people like kind of giving them out because they didn't have, like they were from opposing teams that were visiting at the time. You know what I'm saying? So that was there. And I saw people like, here, I'm here to see the Rams or whoever. I'm here for the Steelers. So here you go. You can have the door because they just give them out at the door. They don't ask you if you want it or not. They just hand them to you as they scan your tickets. So that was the good. Let's post this one here for the bad. And the reason I'm saying that is because of what I anticipate the answer to be. Chuck Thibodeau says, what needs to happen for this season to be considered a success for the 49ers?
They need to win. I mean, for me, it's a ring. Every year it's a ring.
All right.
But I don't know that I would say that if they don't get the ring, they weren't successful. That's my expectation. Making the playoffs would make the season successful, as far as I'm concerned.
I thought the answer was going to be they have to stay healthy because everything else will take care of itself. You know what? And that's why I have this in the bad.
True. That is part of that. Yes. I mean, and then if we see Trey, that could be potentially a good thing too.
Yeah. Yep.
Just
Okay.
depending on how he plays, but we won't know until we see it.
And now it's time for the ugly. I was going to elaborate on that last one, but we're over the 5 minutes already. So here's the ugly. This is something that I saw on Twitter, but they screenshotted this from Facebook. Storylines defining the exactly. Let me get to it. Storylines defining the NFL in 2021.
Well, your banner's in the way of it. So.
Deshaun Watson. They talk about Aaron Rodgers with the Packers. Can Tampa go back to back? How good will Trevor Lawrence be? And then the very last question, and I will remove the banner so you can see it. At what point will Jordan Love start for the 49ers? It's a picture of Trey Lance.
Is Cone a part of this team?
I mean, like, seriously, what the hell is it? How do you
like Grant Cone reporting right here?
How do you whiff on this?
I don't know.
How do you whiff on something like this?
I have no idea.
You had to make a graphic that said that.
Right.
With the picture.
Right. What do we not know?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, we won't trade you Aaron Rodgers, but we'll trade you Jordan Love.
Right. So I thought that was the ugly. And I'm not even gonna respond to it other than sharing it with you guys.
Oh, come on, Dom King.
Let's go ahead and get to the questions. Dan Albright that's not the question. Sorry. Here we go. Mike, who is the most underrated starter on the team right now on either offense or defense or offense, either one? And I said this, and I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to say my man Jimmy Ward is the most underrated player on this team. I just feel like that he doesn't get the just he deserves because of his lack of interceptions and, the creating of the turnovers and all. I really think that's a problem with the fans. They're watching box scores as opposed to just what he brings to the field. I'm going to stick with Jimmy Ward there. And the next question is for you, but it's basically the same thing. Brian, who is your most underrated player after the Steve Young era on the 49ers? So he changed it up a little bit.
So
you don't have to choose just from this roster.
There's so many. Post Steve Young. I mean, the majority of their career was post Steve Young. Yeah, so probably either like J.J. Stokes or Garrison Hurst, probably.
I like it. Well, I know Merton Hanks was there, so never mind. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that answer.
Yeah.
Here we go. DJ Malone says, what are the ugliest uniforms / jerseys in sports? He didn't specify the NFL, so let's start there. Because my answer was going to be the Seahawks. Like, I hate that lime green and blue. And I tried to convince myself that it wasn't that bad looking, but I can't say it with a straight face. It's terrible. But if I had to think of all sports, I'll be honest with you. I don't like when the NBA like just changes up colors. Like I don't get it. I've seen teams that their colors are normally, red and blue, and they're wearing black with hot pink. Like I don't get what the NBA does. Like they let Miami wear like 6 different jerseys in a year. I don't understand. So I'm just gonna say like a lot of NBA jerseys are the ugliest ones.
Cool.
I can't pick one team individually, but it's bad all the way around.
My initial thought was I didn't finish reading the question, so it was ugly. I was thinking 49ers, but for me, I'll stick with that thought process just to be a little different. And I'll go with it was the late 90s, early 2000s, I think, when they went like with all the colors. It was the numbers were like gold, red, black with a white outline, and it was like there was just too much going on. I like the more simplistic versions, like we had last year, or even with the the shadowing they put around the letters or the numbers, excuse me. That looked good to me. I mean, you could go with just the plain white and red like they have before, but to me, the ugliest ones for the 49ers were when they just all out put all the colors on there. It just seemed like they were pushing too much.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had beef Wellington before? My answer is no. So I'm going to ask you now. Have you ever had it?
Yes, and actually my wife supervised my 14-year-old. Well, he was 13 when he did it. 13-year-old making it. It took like all day.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Now
crazy.
explain to us the intricacies.
I wasn't in the kitchen, man.
Well,
I
what's the big deal about beef Wellington?
I think it's just the process that it takes to make it.
Oh, I got you. Okay. All right. And what was it like? How
I
was it?
remember it being pretty good because we were all like, "Joe, you did a great job."
All right. All right. What are some of the game day snacks you guys eat when our Niners are playing? And I'll go first here. Everyone knows that I stick to my wings. I have to get. It's like a game day ritual. My game day ritual is going to be the wings. That's my snack all day for games.
Yeah, I don't have a set snack. It's usually some sort of chips or nachos or something, maybe. But it depends on the game. Sometimes my gut gets too nervous. I just don't eat. I won't eat for 3 hours watching a football game.
Wow. I have to because I start pacing and stuff if I don't get up and do something. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to get up and walk around and replenishing beverages or and things like that. It's just like my way of coping, I guess. Like
I spend 3 hours yelling at the TV.
in there.
How did you miss that?
Right.
Both to the refs and the players.
Yeah. All right. Good question so far. Let's keep this thing moving. Milo jumps in and says, do we have a wide receiver with similar speed to Tyreek Hill and Ruggs, etc.? From what I see, we don't, and I think we really should. Anyone we can try and get.
I mean, when I look at free agency, no, to answer the first part, I don't think we have anybody that can match Tyreek Hill's speed. We might have players who run the same 40 time or similar, or but I don't think that their game speed is necessarily the same. And to those two players that you called out, but when you look at who's available on the free agency market right now, I mean,
Marquise Goodwin's out there.
He's not.
He's with the team. I thought we just got fined because he was a free agent. I
We
thought
got fined a draft pick, but he's signed with Chicago. I think he's a Bear.
I think you're right. That does sound familiar now that you say that.
But I think the only player that could be considered a speedster in that bracket, and I don't even know if you could call him that anymore, would be Tavon Austin. And he's probably and he was on this roster before, so I mean that's somebody you could bring back, I guess. But really, I mean, when you look at who's available on the free agent market, there's just not a lot.
Yeah, you're right. Very good answer. Very good answer there. I don't think, or so he worded this question well, which makes it hard for me to give an answer. Well, the answer is no with that kind of speed. Unfortunately, he said wide receiver. He specified wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Had he not done that, the answer easily would have been Marquise Goodwin. He's faster than those guys, but he won't get the. He's not a. I mean, not Marquise Goodwin. Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. All right. Miss Ryan, Debbie says the Bay Area did a little rocking and rolling this afternoon with a 4.6 earthquake, which is small for us. Have you guys ever experienced being in an earthquake? If so, when and where?
Yes, multiple. I've been in the mid 90s in Southern California, and then in the late 90s in Okinawa, Japan. We had some that caused tsunamis. They're pretty big.
Okay. So my wife is signaling me that apparently I've experienced an earthquake. I don't remember what she's talking about. Were we at home?
I was at home with the nurse getting the IV.
Oh, that's when I was working with Cooper. Yep. Yeah. I was gonna say, okay, so the one that I do remember experiencing, and I'm doing air quotes, I was working for a pest control company, and I went to a lady's house to provide an estimate, and I remember knocking on the door, and nobody was there, and we confirmed the appointment. No, I didn't get an answer. I can't say nobody was there. I couldn't get an answer at the door, and so what I ended up doing was I was like walking around. Sometimes people go to the backyard and stuff like that, and I look in through I get to the backyard. It's fenced in, so I don't go. And I yell, "Hello, anybody here?" I go back to the front door, and I see feet pointing up. So it's someone laying on their back from around the corner. And so I ended up calling the office. They called the police. I had I don't remember if I had to stay there until the police came or whatever, but it was weird. But I left, and then when I get back to work, everyone's like, "Did you feel the earthquake? Did you feel?" I'm like, "No, I was looking at what I thought was a dead lady." So I didn't even like notice it because I'm running around the house like a madman. So that was the one earthquake I remember happening here in Jersey. It doesn't happen often, and so that was the one that I can remember Airco experiencing. All right. Here's another question. Always Faithful says, if D'Amico Ryan shines this year for the 49ers, then who wins in comparison, Robert Saleh versus D'Amico Ryans?
I mean, it's hard to judge after one season. I mean, if you wanted to compare Robert, like his first year versus D'Amico's first year and D'Amico shines, then, I mean, I guess probably D'Amico wins. Because if you remember, a lot of people were calling for Saleh's head year one and year two, you know?
Yeah. I was one of those people. I went back and forth on a lot of it. And then he finally got his pass rushers, and all of a sudden the defense really came in and kind of took its own form, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, I think what you're saying is right. The only fair, and this is as fair as it could be, is comparing their first years. But even then, it's not fair because Robert Saleh and the rest of the staff went out and got the pass rushers that they needed to make the defense successful. So it's not going to be a fair way to compare it. So, you know. Oh, wait, he did say, and I'm talking about the 2019 season. Okay. So, yeah, there's still not a good way and fair way to compare it, but it is what it is. All right, Melissa, this question is for you. I guess they knew you were going to be in the room. I'm going to turn up the microphone. You have to speak nice and loud here. Sorry if I get louder, guys. I'm turning it up so you can hear my wife. All right.
I wasn't there. I didn't do it.
This question is from DJ Malone. Melissa, in the time that you've known Mike, has he always had dreads? So let's start there.
No.
Okay. Do you think he'd look good with cornrows?
Yes.
You do? Wow. All right, that's it for you. So I didn't start growing my dreads until last year. It hasn't even been 2 years yet. It's been almost 2 years. So this is a very, very new look to me. I kept my hair clean cut and short forever. I was never a long hair guy. So and I don't think I would look good. I know you didn't ask me. I don't think I would look good with cornrows because I have a very big, odd-shaped head. And all that would do would highlight my scalp or the skull, and it wouldn't be good. Who do you guys think looks cooler, Jango Fett or Boba Fett?
Boba Fett. I'm going to go with Boba.
I don't know who the hell we're talking about.
Star Wars, man.
I've never seen. All right, never mind. I'm not doing this to myself on tonight's show.
What are you? Don't open that one.
His next question is, does Green Bay pack fudge?
First of all, I don't judge anyone's lifestyle and what they do. As far as the Green Bay Packers, they can go somewhere else off a cliff. Yeah.
Pack it up, huh? How do Moore, School, and Wilson affect the 53-man roster when it comes to roster cuts after preseason?
So that first part will depend. Like, obviously, they already pushed School to the IR so that they could make some moves, but at some point I'm assuming they'll do the same thing with Wilson and Moore, and they won't count towards the 53.
Makes you wonder why they're like waiting so long to do it, right?
It does, because the longer you wait, the closer to being good. I mean, I would assume with Wilson's injury, I mean, he shouldn't be available till like November, theoretically. So why would you not put him on there now to avoid other teams from trying to sign him? You know, like what happened with DJ Reed, right?
Yeah.
And the team picking up a guy who's injured but going to be available during the season. As far as Moore, I don't know, because I don't know what his prognosis is for when he's supposed to return or if he's supposed to return this season.
Yeah, good answer. I agree with all what you said. If Trey starts, what happens to Jimmy if he wins the Super Bowl after a Trey injury, a la Foles and Wentz? So Trey gets to start week one. There's an injury, and Jimmy comes in and rides us all the way to the Super Bowl and wins. What happens then? What happens to Jimmy?
I can tell you right now, there's going to be a whole set of fans who are going to be all like, and media who are going to be all over Trey being injury prone at that point in time. That opens up a whole different can of worms, but I still think regardless of how this season ends, Jimmy will get released or traded. If he wins a Super Bowl, obviously the team probably going to be more apt to trade for him. If not, It may just be a straight up release, but that's okay because it's like $1.5 million dead money for us. It's not a big deal. But I don't see us getting ourselves into a situation where we try to hang on to Jimmy because of Trey. Again, I think this coming off season, after this season's over, they'll be addressing the same thing they addressed this season, or what Lynch said. They were looking for a backup quarterback. That's what they're going to have to do this offseason again. And whether that's finally firmly believing in Rosen or Sudfeld or going and finding someone else. But they're going to be on a mission to do that once they release or trade Jimmy.
I like it. Yeah, if Jimmy does that, all it does is it increases his trade value, because you have to remember that the question says that Trey starts, which alludes to the fact that Trey is ready.
Right.
And if Trey is ready, the team is going to stick with him once he's healthy enough to resume. Oh, let me turn my volume back down. Once he's healthy enough to resume his starting position. Sorry if that was loud for you guys that time. Sorry.
No, it's fine. For me, anyway.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, 2019 D-line versus 2021 D-line. Who do you think wins? And hopefully no injuries and no COVID will affect this. All right, so we got to do a little revisionist history here and then a little projection.
Right. So you had Bosa, Buckner, Armstead, and Ford, or DJ Jones and Armstead, depending on which lineup you're looking at. And basically the only thing that's different this year will be Kinlaw over Buckner if everybody's healthy. So you'd have to just, figure out how you believe. Now, I loved Buckner when he played at Oregon, and I loved him when he was on this team. But Kinlaw is just a different monster. But there's something to be said about that experience that Buckner has too. So that's a real tough question. I'm going to fall to the 21 season. I'm going to have high hopes for this season. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 21 season just because I think that we have more depth at key positions along the defensive line this year. And so, we kind of saw what happened when Ford wasn't in the lineup during that 19 season, those games that he missed. But I think that this team is a little more equipped to handle in particular, his injuries,
Right.
So I like the question. It's a very good question. That's going to be, I'm going to stick with this.
This is being good for barbershop talk.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep it moving here. If you guys had a choice between either having a lifetime supply of beignets or cannolis, what would it be? I don't know what a beignet is. Is that I thought that was what you wash your ass with.
No,
that's a bidet. That's a bidet.
Right. Beignets are like basically dough that gets fried in I want to say it's cottonseed oil because it's from like the New Orleans area. It's specifically the type of oil, but they blow up and then you put them in with powdered sugar, or you can put chocolate syrup on them or whatever. We always get them when we go to Disneyland. And if I had my choice, I would take beignets over cannolis all day long.
Interesting. Well, consider I've never had beignet. I'm going to have to go with cannolis.
Yeah, they're like pillowy pockets of goodness.
All right. Is Breezy the grape nut connoisseur? Did my last set of questions go through? Yes, they did. And, well, I'm assuming he's talking about the ones for Melissa and all. I don't know anything about Breezy and grape nuts. I can't even remember how we got here.
It had something. It was a cereal. We had a long conversation about cereal on one of our episodes like 6 months ago, probably.
But did
it was the same time that we had like the toilet paper / paper towel conversations.
Right. But did Breezy mention grape nuts by name or something?
I don't know if he said grape nuts or if somebody just brought it up and then we started joking about it.
Because I remember people saying Grant Cohn was a grape nut. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how grape nuts played out in that conversation.
You could leave grape nuts in a bowl of milk for like 9 weeks and it would still be like gravel.
Right. Oh my God. Jeez. I've never had it, so I don't know. Does this D-line, we kind of answered this one, Kevin. I wanted to show it because you did ask the question, but I wanted to show it up there. We kind of answered that one earlier. Does this D-line this year have the potential to be better than our D-line in 2019? I think we both agree it has the potential. We have to see how it goes.
I think
Considering
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I think it's going to really depend on how hungry Bosa comes back. I mean, because he was, brand new. He wanted to go out and make a name for himself. And, he's always got to compete with his brother in the league as far as the Bosa name. And so I think that having that injury last year, he might feel like he has something to prove. Just to come back from the injury and show that was a fluke and not something. Because I mean, we've already had talks that he's been injured throughout his career, whether it was a core injury or whatever through college and high school. So I think that he's going to feel like that. I think he's going to try and get that either the comeback player of the year or the defensive player of the year. I think that's what his goals are this year.
Absolutely. All right. This question says, considering his temperament, could Nick be Pikachu if we're talking Pokemon starters? I think this is a little homage to Squirtle and Bulbasaur.
Right.
So I don't know, because Pikachu is pretty friendly, and considering Nick's temperament, I mean, he's got the.
I think that's probably pretty good because he is pretty friendly, but he can use electric. He gets electric too. When you guys have your arguments, man, it can be can get crazy. So I've
never seen Pikachu pissed off before.
When he gets utilized in the tournament, whatever it is, the tournaments or the fights or whatever it is, and he's electricity, right? I think that's his special power.
All right, cool. Sounds good to me.
I don't know. Just throwing shit out there, seeing what sticks.
All right.
Frank Gore can help mentor the running backs we draft. Should Frank Gore get a ring if we win the Super Bowl? Well, only if he's part of this team should he get a ring.
And as far as mentoring, if I'm him and I'm trying to get signed somewhere, I'm not worried about mentoring another team that I'm not a part of. So it depends on if he's on this roster or not.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Let me see here. We're at 26 minutes. Let me see. If Trey is almost ready. Oh, nope, that's not it. Oh, God. This is rough. There's a lot of stuff going on here. 8, 9. Okay, I don't know. What neighborhood were you in? I'm assuming this is about the earthquakes. I was in Hamilton, New Jersey when that happened. All right, Mike and Brian, with the free agents remaining, who is one player you guys want the Niners to sign? I think it's the pass rusher.
Melvin Ingram.
Justin Houston or Melvin Ingram, yeah. But that's if we could somehow manage to afford them.
I don't know that we need it, though. I mean,
right.
I'd be almost more concerned about Aziz's position. I think the Will spot could be upgraded in the current. Not that I'm taking anything away from Aziz. I think he's done a wonderful job since he's had that spot. But
right,
if you're going to upgrade the linebackers, I think that's a good place to do it.
Is One Punch a person? You, Mike, One Punch or Goku? I don't know. I don't know what One Punch is. I know you don't know who Goku. You don't know who Goku is?
Mm-mm. Is it a Street Fighter thing?
No, it's a Dragon Ball Z thing. I
definitely don't know that.
I am a little disappointed right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm judging you, bro. I'm judging you because you don't know who I'm not even like an anime.
Remember, man, I'm 10 years older than you are. Like that.
That's true. That is true. I have to remember that.
Not in my window of childhood.
All right, I'll give you a pat, but I don't know who One Punch is, so I'm gonna say Goku. I guess that's not a question. Come on, a minute and a half. Here we go. Boom. Do you think Kyle Shanahan will change from condensed practices to 3-hour practices with more breaks? That's an interesting question because everyone's been asking him what changes he's going to do to try to avoid some of these injuries and all, and he's basically saying none. He's saying that you guys don't know how intricate and how hard we study and plan for these practices, or we're going to continue doing what we're doing. He made that very clear. Like, I don't plan on changing my practice schedule or regime because of a couple of freak injuries. So he said, now if a guy like broke his neck or something, he said he did admit that would be hard to continue practice after. But he goes, other than that, like, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. So
yeah, I don't think they're going to change either.
All right, 30 seconds. Do you guys think we should sign cornerback Steve Nelson? I don't have a lot of faith in Mosley being consistent all year long. I
don't have a lot of faith in Mosley being consistent all year long either, Ted. However, we do have two brand new rookie cornerbacks. So no, I don't need to go sign anybody else.
I agree. I won't touch on it. Let's see if we can get one more in here. I don't think we can. Oh, boom. Best 80s cereal. Ever have Just Right, Cracklin, Oat Bran, or Nut and Honey? I remember the Nut and Honey commercials. What you eating, Nut and Honey? I remember those commercials. But I don't know what an 80s cereal is. This is crazy.
I probably like Honeycombs, maybe.
Is that from the 80s?
Well, it was big when I was a kid, so yeah. 70s, 80s. I was born in 76, so by the time I was making my own decisions at the store crying for cereal, I'm sure that was it. Or
I feel terrible not having a good
like
answer
Lucky
here.
Charms or Frosted Flakes, but Frosted Flakes is way older than that.
Right. I mean, but that counts as an 80s cereal, right? I mean, it's still around.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna go with Captain Crunch. I'm gonna assume Captain Crunch was out.
Yeah. Crunch berries.
I remember we always got the bootleg version. There was this thing called King Vitamin out here, and I hated that. So that's going to do it. We're going to get up out of here. Thank you guys for your questions, and we will see you all tomorrow twice.
Mahalo.